Good evening to the good people. Good evening to the bad people, friends and enemies. And a good evening, boom, shakalaka, to all of you out there. I am Chris Base. This is a special baseline, as you know by now. Got finished with the first presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former Vice President Donald Trump. And so, again, taking your takeaways. How did you feel about it? What did you see? What you didn't see? Uh, it just again, I think it was very spectacular. Uh, I really believe that. So again, if you want to come on board, come into the comment section there and type in, or you want to be so bold, and I dare you, yes, I do, to call in today. And that phone number is 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. Also come through my Facebook page, YouTube, right there on my Facebook page, right? Your Facebook page on Facebook Live, but my YouTube channel is what I'm getting towards right now. So the YouTube channel, the Chris Base channel, all one word with a period at the end of channel. The Chris Base channel, make sure you go through that as well. Also on Instagram, I am the Base. What did you think of the presidential debate tonight? Let me say this off the bat. I've been covering these debates now for eons, and I never look forward to it. I mean, it's part of the job when you're covering news, and of course, it becomes history, obviously. But for me, this was a masterstroke. This was fun to watch. And he has two candidates, of course, who are going for, and once again, not placating to their own people, not placating to their base that are going to support them and vote for them coming up in November. These are people who are undecided. So, based upon that, I was more than impressed by Kamala Harris. And I knew that she would. I mean, when you break down for what it is, you have people out here who, no matter what Trump says, is going to be okay. He doesn't talk about policy. All he's going to do is mudsling and name call. That's it. That's all. When you look at the entire situation, for me, it was an introduction for both candidates. But when you're used to that type of rhetoric from Trump, the constant lying that he does, and once again, the fan faithful of both parties got their people to want to support. But the undecided people out there are the ones that are saying, well, we honestly don't know. Let's take a look at the candidates and see what we got. So it was held in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia National Constitution Center, hosted by ABC News, moderated by David Muir and Lindsay Davis. I think they did a fantastic job under the circumstances. I was listening to and watching Morning Joe this morning, and Mika was saying that she wanted the moderators in past and coming up for tonight to be more dogmatic, to be more forthright in what they were trying to do as moderators. You only do so much. And we only do so much. It only goes back to the fact of trying to stir the ship and keep everybody on course. But you know you can't do it with certain candidates, and you know in the hell you can't do it with Trump. He is incapable of staying the point and keeping him when you ask him a direct question. And I was watching, the thing could be said of Vice President Harris, but I would say more so Trump because he believes the rules don't apply to him. There was a poll taken before the debate, the national average poll that MSNBC was reporting, that Harris was up by 2 points at 47% and Trump at 45. And again, what you're looking at is two dynamics of these two candidates. And it's still a close race now. We have, I believe, now 56 days until the election. It's still a long time. So, with that said, what did you think about the debate? Was it a clear-cut winner? And why? Again, the phone number 312-597-2106. For you to call in, you comment in the comment section, like I said before. Catch me, of course, on the YouTube, the Chris Base channel, all one word, with a period at the end of the channel. Go through there. Your comments is there as well. And so as we go along, I can also put in the link for you to come on through that way. So there are no excuses. As I said before, even when I do my Saturday show, there are no excuses for you not to contact me at this point. I believe Harris came out swinging. When you look at what Trump does, and once again, it's name calling. There was one point where he called her a Marxist and even said that her professor father was also a Marxist. So, yeah, again with the swinging. See what's up, Walter's a clear-cut winner. I like Lane Greenwood. Again, I'm looking at what's going on here with the constant name calling. If any time I wanted Trump to be Trump was tonight, because that's all he does. And what happens is someone of his advanced age, because now see he can't get on Biden anymore, because now him at 78, meaning Trump, is the old man in the race now. Kamala Harris is 59. Walter says Harris did a lot of baiting tonight, and he fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Had his mouth wide open. Remember that Talking Bass commercials come out back in the day? The bass turn around, talk about with a hip, a hop, a hibbity. Where the Talking Bass? Yeah, Trump was a talking bass tonight. Or take it away the letter B. And he fell for it. Trump called Harris a liar, which I thought was an interesting take. And he's known on record being a liar, but he's going to try to call her a liar of all people. Not saying she doesn't lie, but who has the better record of lying? When you look into, again, the breakdown of what we witnessed, I believe, again, you have someone that is incapable of human compassion, meaning Trump. Because all he does is make it about himself. And when you're president of the United States, that is not about you, obviously. It's about the people, the country you represent. You can't be in this position and just go for self. Outside of Trump's lies, he was pretty calm. He was somewhat. I mean, he did get loud, and he would lean over, had that scowl that he always has. Not as loud as before, but then again, he was not at a Trump rally where he screams, obviously, and wants all the adoring attention from all his Trumpites out there. Also, some of the points that was made, Trump said about eating cats and dogs. They're eating our cats, they're eating our dogs. Where the hell did that come from? And again, if you just sit back and let him be him, even if you're a person, again, that is not into where you decide you want to vote at, that would definitely be a turnoff. You got a former president saying that they're eating our dogs, they're eating our cats. It's not a good look. Now, David Muir, one of the moderators, did fact check him on that because this was allegedly happened in Ohio, and they said they did check with the Ohio authorities, and that never happened. But going back to Trump, oh yeah, they're eating cats and dogs. The constant fear mongering that Trump continues to do. One of the things he said was they're weaponizing the Justice Department. Okay. And during all this going back and forth, I never heard any plans to help better this country. Pretty much what I heard was, again, him with the fear mongering, attacking Biden, attacking Vice President Harris. That's what he does: attack, attack, attack. When he was asked about January 6th, he said, I had nothing to do with it. You were indicted, you were impeached, but you said I had nothing to do with that. And then blames Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of D.C. He's on record. Now, Kamala Harris did tell us and warn us from the beginning of the debate that you're going to hear a lot of lies out of this guy. A lot of lies. And so there you go. And you did. And it was to be expected, obviously. But this is what happens when your reputation precedes you. And people are tired. His own people are tired. It's documented that at his own rallies, when he starts to ramble and, go into the whole thing about Hannibal Lecter and everything else being a real person, blah, blah, they show footage of people leaving his rallies. These are Trumpites. Now, when the Trumpites are tired, because they don't want to hear their leader, I think that speaks volumes. Now, of course, Fox News is going to, of course, well, hell, they're all Republicans. And I remember looking a little bit of Fox News with Laura Ingraham, and she was saying that if Trump becomes the next president again, that is the greatest comeback story of all time. So Fox News is going to milk it, obviously, to Trump's way. But still, how can you ignore the obvious? And they probably will. I didn't get into watching Fox after the debate. I'll be curious to see how they're going to spin that one. But they'll go along with it anyway because it's Trump. And then he did go into the whole thing about debunking that the January 6th situation was debunked by Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, but they work for Fox News, so of course they're going to debunk it. Of course, I mean, you're quoting a source that's on your side no matter what you do. Fox News is your cheerleading station, your cheerleading network. So no matter what you do, Trump, they're going to be for you, even though they know it's wrong. I said before, and I'll say it again. Myself, having worked in talk radio and terrestrial talk radio, and knowing that the audience is always white conservative males. This was the time I got in was early 90s at WLS. So having known that and continuing to phase into talk TV, you placate to the audience. And people that work at Fox News, I don't believe that a lot of people there I don't believe that half the stuff they're talking about because it's a job. And they have talking points and bullet points, obviously, when they do these programs, but I still believe that it's a job. You got to pay the bills, obviously. So let me go into this mindset because I got a job to do. Harris was excellent on abortion and so on overall introducing herself. I agree. I think she did a wonderful introduction, Walter, to the country, was into the undecided. She kept focus, of course. Excuse me, Mike. Kept focus, of course, on the camera, and it would turn back and now again to go back and forth with Trump to let him know that she was not a punk, and also to let him, Trump know that I am not Biden. You're running against Kamala Harris, not Joe Biden. The one thing she said, going back to Harris during the debate, was that Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. Another gut shot to the body. I mean, think about that. You were fired, me and Trump, by 81 million people, 81 million votes. You can't handle it. It goes back to remember, A Few Good Men. You know that line, Jack Nicholson. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's right, boys and girls. You watch movies. And that whole diatribe, when she really humanized the answers that they were giving her about abortion, she humanized it. It wasn't just answering a question. You can picture her, meaning Vice President Harris, talking to women who were denied the fact of abortion, abortion rights, rape, incest. That really hit home to a lot of people. Okay, what we got? Yeah, I like to call, but my voice is sore as I've been singing tons of Lee Greenwood songs today. Yeah, well, I'm gonna reserve my comment. I would say something, but I am not going to say it. I hope your voice gets better. One thing Trump said was Israel will not exist in 2 years. Okay, so again, let's have some facts here. Again, it's fear mongering. Again, it's run, run, run. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. You're looking at, again, someone like Trump who more than unhinged. More than unhinged. So to me, the blabbering he continues on just made him look bad. I don't think America wants someone to just go on and on to the break of dawn about things that he's done in the past. It's the old playbook. They went over during the debate about the addressing of race. I didn't know she was black. He pulled that same card again, which he has done before with Barack Obama. The whole birther movement. It's the old playbook. The old playbook doesn't work anymore. I think both candidates played well to their base. The undecided, I believe, are still undecided. We'll see when the other polls come out about how the undecided believes. I think to a degree, yes, but as far as who looked more presidential, who looked more like the adult in the room, was Kamala Harris. She was the one. When you look at even in the opening when they're about to shake hands, most times the candidates meet in the middle and then go to the respective podiums. She had to come over to her. He had to go over. She had to go over to him and establish authority. Kamala Harris, and like somebody was saying, they like he was trying to back off a little bit, but she had to look. I'm going to shake hands with you whether you like it or not, because the first they ever met in person. So shake hands, go to your neutral corners, and come out swinging. Again, about racism, there was also mention about the Central Park Five, once again, the birther ads that Trump has had over the years, because that's what he deals with when it comes to black people and people of color. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. I still did not think that Trump should have been invited to the National Association of Black Journalists. I stand by that. There was no reason for him to be invited. But a done deal is already a done deal. Like I said, somebody got paid. So from that situation, you have his history with race, people of color, the whole Central Park Five had ads and denounced them and everything else. And then when they were found not guilty, never retracted the ads, never apologized, never nothing. Let's see. Base, do you think any of the candidates spoke to the black male voters? I believe Harris tried to speak to the black men when she referenced Trump's history and the Central Park Five. Right, that's what I'm talking about right now. Exactly. Exactly. When the person has a history, and then of course Trump was saying she has to go back into history, but I'm doing good now. No, you're not doing good now. You wasn't doing good back then, and you're not doing good now. I mean, in his mind, in his world, he's doing fantastic, but in reality, he's not. What was the one so-called zinger that that he tried to use? Wait, I'm talking now. Sound familiar? Yeah, he said that to Harris, but that's her line because that's what she said to them, to the vice president candidate during that time, Mike Pence. So remember that debate? Remember they sat down? It was COVID. They had the plexiglass between them, and that fly was in Mike Pence's hair. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one. That was funny. It came off to me that Harris seemed more relaxed. Let's have a plan. Trump pretty much came off, whining and complaining, as he always does. And if you're undecided, you want somebody to tell you a plan. Now, whatever the plan is, you have to listen to, or like just listen to the plan and say if you like it or not. Not just someone again, just beating a dead horse. Zingers, Trump said he was going to give Harris a MAGA hat. Oh, okay. See, there you go. See, there has to be a time where politics has to grow back up again. And Donald Trump has done a masterful job of setting his own party back, not really the party of Republicans, the party of Trump. And everything is not about policy and procedure. Again, it's about name calling and mudslinging to the point where you've had people do lockstep and do what he does. When the so-called Republican nominees were going back and forth, yeah, because they wanted to do what their master has done, name calling. So also combined with all this, you've had people like Representative Liz Cheney and her father, former Vice President Dick Cheney, said they're voting for Vice President Kamala Harris. They made that clear on the record. Now, an ABC News Ipsos poll found that 93% of likely Republican voters still prefer Trump over Harris. It's a similar margins that were with Trump back in 2020. Hey, and how you doing? Good evening to you. How's everything? Did you see the debate? You have any comments about that? Again, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Um, Also, again, looking at the whole thing, Harris seemed to have more of a grip when it comes down to issues was concerned and humanized, like I said before, certain topics. Again, going back to the old abortion thing. That was deep. Do you think the vice president presidential debate will help this election? Walter asked. I don't know. It still goes back to the whole thing about the undecided we talked about earlier in the conversation. And because of the undecided, that's where you got to obviously talk to the people and see where their heads are at. Because some people would say, well, look, I don't want to vote for either one of them. And that's an empty vote that can go towards either one. So, for example, if Trump was to become president elect and he gets in office again, you have nobody to complain because he didn't vote. Let's see what you got here. In watching the debate made my head hurt. I can see that. No more debates for me. Oh, okay. I thought it was great. It could be a one and done. We don't know yet. It could be a one and only debate. I'm looking forward to some more, but it could be the only one. We don't know. At this point, it could be only one. Another thing Trump said during the debate, he said it's legal to kill children. All of this comes out of this man's spewing mouth. Again, there's no facts. Something outrageous or something like that. It's legal to kill children. I asked the question because I don't think Trump or Harris did a great job for undecided. I honestly do not know. I don't have an answer for that. I do not because again, we don't have the numbers of people who undecided. I know MSNBC had like a focus group of people, for example, in Arizona before the debate. I didn't get a chance to see it afterwards. I had to come on here, obviously. So as a kind of like a litmus test. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see in time. When I know some people don't put their faith in polls. I mean, I do to get some sort of thumbnail sketch of what the country is going through as a pulse on the nation, quote unquote. But I still believe that Harris came off better than Trump did. And again, like I said before earlier in the conversation, you don't have to agree with the policies that Harris brought up versus old man rambling. Harrison mentioned about again about the going back to the rallies, people leaving his rallies, and they are. Harris had economic agendas, and again, once again, I keep reiterating, you don't have to like it, but she had something on the table. I wasn't responsible for security, Trump said during January 6th. It's, the denial factor gets me. Just deny everything. Deny and lie. Lie and deny. You had people actually were killed on January 6th. These lives protecting us, these brave officers who will never come back again because of that insurrection that Trump had led. we have to be reminded of these things because it's very critical. With again the election coming up in 56 days, it's critical. I think that when it comes down to looking at Trump over the years, we're kind of used to him. Oh, there goes Trump being Trump again, saying something outrageous, going after somebody's family and personal attacks and everything else. And that's the damnness of shame that we are used to it. But we have to be reminded how dangerous this man is. Not taking anything for granted. He is very, very dangerous. Um, Also, was mentioned, Harris brought up about Senator John McCain, how Trump said that John McCain was a loser for getting caught in the Vietnam War, being a political prisoner. Charlottesville was brought up as well. We cannot forget these things. I think as Americans, we want to forget, but let us not forget because of what's at stake here coming up in November. Again, this is critical. This is real. So I think again, for people to look at what's at stake here, going back to undecided people, take another look. Watch the news, do your homework. And that goes for all voters or even undecided voters. Do your homework. Do not let this election pass you by. If I didn't know any better, I think Trump hates now being the old man, which is why even during the debate he kept bringing up President Biden. So what are you bringing him for? You're not going up against Biden. You're going up against Harris. He can't take it. He can't take any woman, or especially a woman of color, and feels that women are his equal. That women actually, should bow down to him of all people. The way he treated black folks when he had those properties in New York that had that wouldn't sell to black families. His history speaks for itself of race. Nobody changes like that. Nobody turns around and say, "No, I've been wrong. I shouldn't have been a racist." I haven't heard him saying that like that, and nor will we. Once a good old boy, always a good old boy. Once a racist, always a racist. Unless they repent, unless they do a 180, have an altar call, Jesus call moment, and it ain't going to happen. And that's what gets me about organized religion, the Christian right. With that being said, it's one of those things that how can the Christian right endorse him when by right everything is done the Bible should be going against and has gone against. But you know what? That's okay. Why? Because Jesus forgives sinners. That's what they do. Before I got on here, MSNBC reported that Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris for president. The Swifties are now going to vote for Kamala. It's a wrap. I'm not one to make predictions, but we've seen the magic and the power of a Taylor Swift to her Swifties. I do believe that. You see what she did just, by dating. Well, I won't even mention his name right now. I don't know. He changed his whole completely. Kelsey, yeah, I know. You ever seen his recent look? I mean, he has that hairpiece out, whatever. Or not even hair, it looks like he got a hairpiece. He got the porn stash. Anyway, how much of the Swifties back Taylor dating Kelsey to the point where, again, let's go back to the NFL last year. Viewership went up like, I think it was like 9 or 10%, something like that. Maybe some got higher as the games went along. They put the camera on her like 18 times when they're watching the game, whoever the Chiefs would play. His jersey sales went up 400%. Even prior to all that, she had talked to her Swifties on social media about registering to vote. And then the registrars of voting, I think they went up like 15% through the power of her and the Swifties. So now that she's endorsed Kamala Harris, I think you sit this one down. Yeah, there you go. Right. Taylor Swift endorsed Harris. Big win for her or not is huge. Trump loyals are going to come out in full force. I don't think the John McCain comment, I don't think the John McCain comment or the endorsement of Dick Cheney is really going to move the needle. It moves the needle some. It gets eyeballs to certain people who would probably say that you never thought someone like Vice President Dick Cheney would vote for Kamala Harris. I think it makes a dent. I told you about the ABC poll. And still found out that 93% of Republican voters still prefer Trump over Harris. But I think it still get eyeball on the screen. I think people are still going to look at that. Well, people follow politics. Those people who follow politics will know that is a big deal. Representative Liz Cheney, of course, who was the head of the committee for the whole January 6th insurrection, she probably has, of course, endorsed Harris, and not once again her father has. So I do believe that does have some power. With the Swifties, oh yeah. Yeah, it's a wrap. She is a proven commodity, going back to Taylor Swift, and her followers will listen to her. So if Taylor says, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris, the Swifties will fall into line and fall into place and will vote. And she even mentioned it, I believe, on her social media site about make sure you register to vote. Make sure you register. That's huge. That's huge, and it's big time. And it does mean a lot. Yeah, I was surprised about that. Right before I was getting ready to hit. Some of the questions that were asked are Americans better off than 4 years ago? Can Americans afford higher prices because of tariffs? Why should women trust you on abortion? We talked about that. How, again, when Kamala Harris was able to humanize those stories about abortion. Would you support any restriction on abortion? Would you have done anything different from the Biden administration on immigration? Hold on. How would you depart 11 million undocumented immigrants? Why have so many of your policies and positions changed? We're talking about going back to Kamala Harris and fracking, for example. Is there anything you regret about January 6th? And once that question was asked about That question was asked about President Trump. Let's see. I don't think Trump was really bothered tonight by an African American woman going against him. I think so. He can't play it off. I mean, he could play it off, but no. But I think so. I think his track record speaks for itself about women in general. Once again, the body language from the beginning of the debate. How come he did not meet her in the center of the stage, shake hands? She had to go over and shake his hand on his side of the podium. No, I think he was scared. I think he was afraid. And he couldn't play it off. If you can't even go to the middle of a stage and shake your opponent's hand and wasn't go to neutral corners, she had to go to him. Yeah, that body language didn't look too good. What's the chance of let's go back here. What's the chance of Beyonce endorsing Harris? Beyonce relevant now? Well, of course she's relevant, even though she got snubbed for the it was a country music awards. Of course she's relevant. She's Beyonce, the Beehive and everything else. So yeah, she can endorse. I mean, there's no limit on endorsements now. Yeah, she can endorse them. Why not endorse Harris? Of course, the more the merrier. You know, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. So me personally, I just think that it was. You look at the whole dynamic of both sides of the podiums, and you look at how one again goes after the whole personal thing and attacks, and what I did in the past, and I was a better president, and the world leaders call and tell me that they don't like the current administration, everything else, and me, and I, and all that type of crap. But going back to how Kamala Harris did, steadfast, say, steady pace wins the race. She was able to, again, make her points. She had a plan. She had a wherewithal to make sure that someone like Donald Trump was not going to bully her and use his bully pulpit. She kept him in check. Woo-ha! I got you all in check. She checked him and had to. And so if this is the one and done, I still say it still goes to Harris. All points lead to Harris. If there's another one, I'll look forward to watching that one too. The undecided. If I was undecided and I'm watching these two go back and forth, yes, at one point I would say, okay, these two people going back and forth, I'm not really hearing anything, but I'm looking at both of these people and I've seen one on the news always saying outrageous things, always talking about himself. Now, recently, he's going on and on to the break of dawn about meandering about certain things, can't keep a sentence together. And I'm seeing the other one who is at least coherent and trying to get my vote by making sense, by having a plan, by not using race, by asking a question of January 6th, and the president still doesn't want to take responsibility for what had happened. If you're undecided, you still walk away undecided, but still, let's not get it twisted of who was the adult in the room tonight. Who was the one that came off more presidential, more like a leader, more like they had their act together. And of course, the fan field on both sides is going to, of course, say that their candidate won. But how long can you continue to put your stock behind a person who constantly lies? Constantly lies. But that's okay with you. Dictator on day one made it very clear about the whole Project 25 thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. But for me, it was definitely Harris. So there you go. So you have any last minute comments and questions, please go to the comment section or call in at 312-597-2106. And so just want to come on real quick, give your take on what happened, what did you see, what you didn't see. The whole mic thing real quick. I know the Harris people wanted to keep the mics on and not have it muted. I think that was by design at first because they just wanted Trump to keep on talking. And again, that would expose all of his nerve endings, expose the fact that he is incompetent and he rambles on and everything else. I still say it worked with the mics being muted. So you saw they respectfully put the mic back on because they wanted to respond to the other person and them going back and forth and everything else. So even though it's like wax on, wax off, mic on, mic off, still, still, I think regardless of the mics being muted, each candidate show their true selves and continue to show that side of themselves. And there you go. Even though, yes, Trump a little bit more calmer, he's still Trump. He's still going to say outrageous things because that's what he does because he thinks that that's the way to connect to people. I say outrageous stuff, people laugh at that, and then go from there. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Jed? I haven't talked to Jed in a while because just on the West Coast, and the show on Saturday morning is too early, but I deeply appreciate it. So we got here, Jed, from the start. She showed humanity by commanding respect and walking over to handshake and introduce face to face. But yes, that's what I was saying earlier. Thank you, Jed. Absolutely, it was great. And see, when you're used to being the bully, you're not used to getting your ass kicked. You're used to kicking ass. There's always come a fateful day when the bully gets bullied themselves. When they get checked. The only check, once again, before I was going to hit tonight, I heard the news about Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris. That's check and bait. It's a wrap. If I was Trump, I'd just go on and sit down because the Swifties would come out in tenfold. I bet you a dime to a donut. And you combine that with possibly Beyonce and her beehive come forward and endorse Kamala Harris as well. It's a wrap. You think it's a wrap now, which it is, I think. And now it'll be a wrap. Uh, it's one and done, and the undecided are still undecided. Trump did what he normally does. Both sides won. A lie isn't a lie if Trump believes it's the truth. Well, a lie is a lie, and the truth ain't in them. I'd like to see another debate, at least two. That's just me. And again, Trump's ego would not let him say no. if they decide on both sides to have another debate, because he wasn't going to say no to this one. He wasn't going to back down. At one point, he was talking about, okay, let it be at Fox News and have an audience because that's what he wanted and everything else. And, that's not what happened. And then he goes on Fox denouncing ABC as a horrible network. The man is not, it doesn't have anything good to say about anybody. Incapable of human emotion. Generals who work with him saying about how, again, calling soldiers and people working in the military suckers and losers. These are his words. And you want to vote for somebody like that? And let's not forget the people who, again, denounce him in public would vote for him in private. You got to keep that in mind. He said concepts of a plan is like my homework is almost done. Right. You have a platform, then you run for office. Exactly. But I didn't get any platform from him at all, meaning Trump. Not at all. Harris did a lot of talking as well with the mic off. I really like to call in, but my voice is gone. Right, I heard you. I heard you before. Right. Yeah, I know. Because you don't call in, and I know something happens. Always your voice. Right. Got it. Got it. It's amazing how your voice goes out and you won't call the show. That's amazing how that happens. Just our observation. Don't give me a sore throat. I can't call in. This is one for the ages for me. And I said, I've been doing this now for a while, covering debates, and I really haven't looked forward to the debate until this one. What do you say, Jed? Uh, you can at least like, though. Just saying, what do you say? You can at least uh hit. Well, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, yeah. Walter is a whole different conversation. I'll leave it at that. I said, going back to covering debates, I was really looking forward to this one, and it did not disappoint at all. I had a lot of fun taking notes, a lot of fun watching it. And again, to me, let Trump be him. I think more so the pressure was on Kamala Harris to introduce herself to the nation for those who needed more clarification of who and what she represents. And it was a fine job, a fine job. But again, if you're a person that likes a quote unquote leader who refuses to grow up, wants to continue the name call and make it all about himself. So if he makes it about himself, how are you involved? You sure the hell ain't thinking about you at all. It's all about him, but you want to support that. Help me make sense of that. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I realized over the years that there are just some things that wasn't meant for me to understand. It wasn't meant for me to understand. That's one thing I don't understand about people who follow Trump like that blindly. But that's their leader. That's who they put their faith in. That goes through the rallies and everything else, the MAGA caps, all that type of stuff. Even the rambling that he's been doing. But let me get props up to the press for covering this because at one point, and rightfully so, when President Biden was making his mistakes. We saw that debate that was really hard to watch. And now we fast forward to him, meaning Trump, and they're covering his mistakes, which is great. I think it's wonderful. So at least from the media I've seen, because at one point Trump was making a lot of mistakes in the media, but they kind of like, that is Trump being Trump. No. No one's good for the goose is always good for the gander. Oh, Shayla. Right. I mean, turnabout is fair play. So in that capacity, if you're going to cover the president, and rightfully so, he's making these guffaws and mistakes, and rightfully so, it was just a train wreck, and it was really difficult to watch. Because I, for one, I appreciate whatever and every continuing thing that President Biden has done. You may not like it, but his administration got us out of the pandemic. Got us out of the pandemic, and then only that, put us back on the track for the economy. You don't have to like it, but it's facts. A family member had a notepad out also. I would barely stay focused on the reality shift he was laying out there. Thank God the moderator was it try to clear up pet eating BS. Yeah, it was sad, Doc. You saw it on TV, so it was for real. That is crazy people talking, just saying. Thank you, Jed. Absolutely. Just like people go to the internet. Well, it's on the internet, so it must be real. That's sad, man. You know what also sad is that I think people within the Republican Party, obviously, not everybody could be on board with Trump, but they have to be on board because it's a power move, obviously. Just like they did back in 2016. And before, I mean, that whole thing of getting on board with Trump when Trump started to take steam and nobody took him seriously at first, then all of a sudden people start to like this man. And he was able to, get the ground running and build up people following him and in numbers and things like that. Grab him by the pussy. See, things like that. See, this is what gets me about people when you justify things. And how do women who follow Trump justify the abortion rights thing? How can you justify that? Don't you have daughters and nieces and women in your family? Of course you do. And you're okay with them turning over Roe v. Wade. You're okay with it. That's what gets me. Let's venture out to the phone. Say good evening to Walter. Walter, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, sir?
Good debate tonight, man. It was my voice is gone. Good debate tonight. Both sides played to their base, and it was interesting. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a second debate.
You came to keep a straight face. And let me talk to Molly for a quick second, and I'll get back to you in a second.
Okay.
If there's anybody out here that's jive, and yes, using jive from the 1970s, well, why did you hang up for? I was getting ready to talk to you. Yeah. You hung up. I didn't want you to hang up. You got a sore throat. Keep talking. What I was going to say was, I would like, as I said before, personally, I would like to see at least another debate. I would. The way you got Jed, yeah, it wasn't about the TV thing, right? And going back to what Jed said, when you're seeing these things coming from a former president, and even if once again you didn't follow Trump, and say you just watched the whole 90 minutes tonight, you still walk away with that man is old, and that man don't know what the hell he's talking about, and that man needs several naps, and that man needs to sit in the corner, and that man needs a shawl, and that man needs to start eating rice pudding in a rocking chair. That man right there. That's exactly what you would think. The breakdown of all of this is, for me, a triumphant, positive A+ for Kamala Harris. It was fantastic. Now, you know how Trump is. He'll go on and see the numbers and can't take it as always. So he might want a part two. We'll see. Yeah, but me personally, I would like to see a part two, a second debate. All right, we're about to get out of here. As always, thank you so much for everybody being in the chat room. Thank you for participating. And once again, we'll continue to talk about this on Saturday. So make sure you check me out. That's BaseLine coming up this upcoming Saturday and every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, 5 a.m. Like my man Jed on the West Coast would take. Got nothing but love for you. Continue to stay asleep. But you're up now because, of course, we're on late. But my man Jed and Walter and everybody else, thank you so much for being a part of the program. We'll do it again Saturday. Continue to be safe. Continue to be sound. Continue to be healthy. And most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. And more power to you. See you Saturday morning. Take care.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can be the black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in BaseLine. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.